Good morning, class. I am Mrs. Rushali Chaudhary, lecturer Praveen Patil, Polytechnic. Today we are going to learn Applied Science Chemistry, subject code 22202 and 22211. Chapter 5 Water Treatment and Analysis. In a previous chapter, we learned what are the different sources of water, what are the contaminant of the water. Means water is obtained from the different sources, so different particles, different gases, different biological particles get added in a water, which changes the property of water. Today we are going to learn what are the adverse effect of that. In a previous one, we learned when the dissolved salts like the calcium, magnesium dissolve in a water, that makes a water hard. What is meaning of the hardness of water? That water is not able to produce foam, jhaak with a soap. That water is called as hard water. Even water is colorless, odorless, and tasteless due to the presence of dissolved salts like the calcium, magnesium, carbonate. Chemical properties of water is changes, and water is divided into two categories: hard water and a soft water. This is based on the amount of mineral present in the water. In this image we are able to see hard water and soft water. Soft water is produce lot of lather, while the hard water does not produce a lather. Main difference between the hard water and soft water. Hard water, these are the having high amount of minerals like the calcium and magnesium salts, sodium salt, calcium, magnesium salt in form of chloride, carbonate, bicarbonate. Hard water is having, while the soft water does not contain or contain very few dissolved salts. Hard water, it is not so effective when we are using the soap. Soft water, soap can be easily used as it is produce the large amount of lather. Third difference, it will not form foam or lather with a soap. Soft water easily form large amount of lather with a soap. If we use hard water for the washing dish or the cleaning purpose, it will not get clean properly. It will leave some spots. It is having a powdery nature in that. If we use soft water for the washing purpose, they get clean properly. Hard water contains mineral like a calcium and a magnesium. Soft water contains sodium ion in a small amount. Hard water sometimes preferred for the drinking as it is containing lot of minerals, but it is not good for the drinking when we are using very regularly, as due to the salts are present, minerals are present, it may deposit in our body causing the harm. Soft water we are not using for the drinking purpose because it is free from the elements. So when we are using the water for the drinking purpose, it is a soft water but containing small amount of the minerals. It is not a completely soft water, it is not a completely hard water, but soft water is required for the industry. What are the sources of hard water? The groundwater like a deep wells. Sources of soft water, the rainwater, but when rainwater coming on the earth surface, it gets some salt get dissolved. Hard water is not good for the hair and skin. Soft water is good for the skin, hair as well as our body. Industry. Classification of hardness based on the content, based on the minerals present in the water. Hard water is classified into two categories. One is called as temporary hardness, another one is called as permanent hardness. Temporary hardness means it is called as a carbonate hardness. It is due to the presence of calcium magnesium salts in a carbonate form. Permanent hardness or the non-carbonate hardness. It is due to the presence of chloride sulfate of calcium magnesium salts. This will give you idea betterly. Carbonate hardness also called as a temporary hardness. It is due to presence of calcium magnesium bicarbonates. Non-carbonate hardness is called as a permanent hardness. It is very difficult to remove out the permanent hardness. It is due to presence of calcium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, calcium nitrate, magnesium nitrate, calcium and magnesium chlorides. In an exam, they will ask you among following which will cause a temporary hardness or the permanent hardness. Sulfate, nitrate and the chlorides of calcium magnesium form a permanent hardness, so it is called as non-carbonate hardness, while the bicarbonates are caused the temporary hardness. It's called as carbonate hardness. What is the reason behind the temporary hardness? This is caused by the presence of dissolved bicarbonates of the calcium and magnesium in a water. It is destroyed, means the salt, that is the calcium magnesium bicarbonate, are removed by the boiling of water. When we are boil the water, the bicarbonate is decomposed and form a insoluble precipitate of carbonate and hydroxide. Like calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate, when we are heating or the boiling at 100 degree, it is converted to the CaCO3, that is the insoluble form, so that can be easily removed by the filtration. Permanent hardness or total hardness. Total hardness means addition of carbonate hardness and non-carbonate hardness. It is the addition of temporary hardness and a permanent hardness. Remember this formula. We are going to find out amount of hardness present in a water. That time we are going to search out how much total hardness is present, how much temporary hardness is present, and how much permanent hardness is present. It is due to presence of dissolved chloride and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. Difference between temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Temporary hardness, the dissolved salt which can be removed by the simple techniques called as like boiling, is called as temporary hardness. Permanent hardness, the hardness is not removed by the easy process, easy techniques, it's called as permanent hardness. Temporary hardness is due to presence of bicarbonate of calcium and magnesium, it's called as carbonate hardness also. Permanent hardness is presence of the chloride and the sulfate other than the carbonate salts. Temporary hardness is also called as alkaline hardness. Permanent hardness called as a non-alkaline hardness. Primary technique to remove the hardness is, to remove the temporary hardness is boiling process, while the permanent hardness is removed by the complex chemical process like soda lime process, zeolite process, ion exchange process. What is the uses? What is the unit of hardness? When I am saying that given water is hard, means what? We are going to determine how much calcium carbonate is present in a given salt. So that is unit is parts per million. It is defined as number of parts of calcium carbonate equivalent hardness per 106 parts of water. How much calcium carbonate atoms are dissolved, molecules are dissolved in a water, that is determined by the parts per million. It is also unit is milligram per liter. How much milligram of calcium carbonate present in a 1 liter of water? Another unit is called as Clark degree. It is defined as number of parts of CaCO3 equivalent hardness per 70,000 parts of water. French degree. These are the units of the measuring hardness of water. Like for measuring weight, we are using gram, kilogram. Similarly, for measuring hardness of water, we are using these units like the ppm, parts per million, mg per liter, milligram per liter, Clark degree or the French degree. Nowadays, we are using the parts per million. How we are going to determine how much water, how much ppm hardness is present in a water? That is determined by using a titration with a EDTA solution. In this process, we are titrating water with a EDTA in presence of ethylene EBT indicator, aerochrome black T indicator. When we are adding indicator, we will get a wine red color water. As we are adding EDTA, it will turns to the blue color. Blue color is the end point, and the amount of EDTA required to convert wine red to the blue is called as hardness of water. Why hardness measurement is required? Because we require the water for the household as well as the industrial purpose, and due to that lot of disadvantages will occur. So we are going to measure hardness by using a EDTA at the pH of 10, which is maintained by the buffer, and by using EBT indicator, that is a aerochrome black T. If you have a doubt, you can mail me. Thank you for your attention. Thank you so much.